Belter here with Brook Rabbitry in Collinsville, Alabama. Why purchase a rabbit? Determining why you want to purchase a rabbit is going to enable you to properly prepare for it before it comes home with you. That first week of care is really critical to your rabbit's adjustment into their new home. And deciding where you're going to purchase your rabbit is another thing to think about. You want to look for healthy rabbits, and you want to determine whether you want to spay or neuter your rabbit. Rabbits will always be a wild thing, and even with constant handling and things like that, they just have a nature about themselves because they're so low on the predator and food chain. Everything is a predator to a rabbit, anything and everything, and so a lot of their behavior is going to be a result from that. The reason why rabbits massively reproduce, and they just cycle constantly, is because they are so predated upon by everything: fox, raccoons, weasels, mink, human. So something to think about. More than likely, your child came home and had been talking to friends who have pet rabbits, or perhaps you recently went to a fair. Wherever it is that you had a recent introduction, or even if you had them as a child and you're deciding to get them now as an adult to enjoy them, they're a lot of fun. They're pretty neat. If you like ears and just to watch the rabbit, not even necessarily to constantly handle them, but just watching them is fun. So whatever it is, you just really want to decide how you're going to take care of them, where they're going to live, and there's a lot of options to think about. So I think that a good resource with learning more about rabbit behavior is to check out the House Rabbit Society. You can Google that and find information about it. They write a lot of articles on rabbit behavior and how to properly pick up and set down a rabbit, and really promote neutering and spaying of your rabbit because of the hormones and the constant pressure on them to reproduce constantly. By spaying and neutering them, you're going to have a much happier rabbit, and it's going to live a lot longer. They have been documented as living as long as 10 years or more. So a rabbit that is not neutered or spayed generally have a lifespan of 5 to 6 years, especially if they've been breeding quite often. I decided to have rabbits specifically for the manure they reproduce. We live on a farm. My best friend John, he's really got an active green thumb and has a nursery, a blueberry orchard, and all of that. So I was able to justify having rabbits now again as an adult, just for the compost, and I just really think they're neat. And I have made the decision to breed on occasion. When I selected my rabbits, I looked for, I knew I wanted Dutch, and then later I knew I wanted to have one pair of Holland Lops. So I had Dutch as a child, and they generally are a rabbit that gets like 4 to 5 pounds. So they're smaller, they're not an overly large rabbit. And it also is going to lower my expenses by not having a huge rabbit or several huge rabbits. So I looked for the Dutch Breed Association, and then going through them is where I found a rabbitry near me, and that just happened to be Daffy Dill's Rabbitry by Marty and Vern Dill. And they have been an excellent resource for me. I recommend that if you're purchasing a rabbit for the first time, and if you've never owned a rabbit before, you want to have a mentor. You want to purchase from somebody that's going to be able to follow up with how your rabbit is adjusting to the new home, and just different things that come up that you have questions about. I think it's really beneficial not only to be able to read resource information, but to have someone to talk to and who is experienced in all aspects of care and handling. and breed standards. You don't have to purchase a pedigree rabbit. I mean, rabbits are, you can find them just about everywhere. $5, $10, $15, $20 rabbits. And they do get more expensive. Holland Lot market is right around $100, and that's, you know, that is the middle mark. It gets lower and it gets more expensive depending. Um, so other people, you know, realistically, you have to, if you're going to own a rabbit, you need to understand that there are several markets for them. Not only are they pets and house rabbit, there is a market for them as livestock and as meat, and several homesteaders will have rabbits for that purpose. It's just part of the rabbit industry. I just love bunnies, so I would really have a hard time cooking mine for dinner. But you know, I'm not going to tell everybody, you know, what is the right way or wrong way. It's more important that you understand why you want to have a rabbit, and that you're ready for that rabbit to come to your home and to live safely, and adjust. Children have to be supervised. If you have a young child, they're just not going to be responsible enough to oversee the care of cleaning the cage and the daily food. If you live somewhere and your climate has, you know, is frozen for 4 months out of the year, somebody needs to be going out there in the weather and taking care of that rabbit. So those are all things to think about. It is a great way to teach responsibility, and youth do get involved through 4-H and through local fairs. It's very social. I happen to live in an area where there are a lot of rabbit shows all around me, and they're so inexpensive. You know, owning rabbits in general, I would say, on the large scale of different pets to have, the rabbit is one of the very cheapest, less expensive pets you can find. Not always, but on routine care, you're going to find that the biggest expense is going to be deciding where they're going to live with you. You know, the House Rabbit Society have people who have their rabbits in their home, free, running about, litter trained, and if you decide to do that, you have to safe keep your home. All wires and molding at floor level, you have to understand that the rabbit is going to go to that and chew on that sometimes. So what some people do is they just dedicate one room. Some people even bring a shed onto their property, a small shed, and they just make that their rabbit shed, and that's where they keep their rabbits. They kind of make a sitting room so they can be next to their rabbits, watch them, because they're just fun. So determine why you want to have a rabbit and where you want to keep them. I recommend spaying and neutering because of that pressure that the rabbit has on them to constantly reproduce. They're going to be much happier if they are spayed or neutered, and they're going to live longer. I would like to breed mine on occasion, not on a heavy, large scale, but I do like the aspect of being able to promote the Dutch breed, and now the one pair of Holland Lops that I have to promote the Holland Lop breed. But I'm really not trying to breed a large amount, but on occasion I would like to. So my rabbits live outside. The bucks will spray, and that's another reason why you want to neuter. When they reach maturity, they will spray. And I think that my rabbits are happier living outside, where they have good ventilation. They're able to go to the bathroom at will. I mean, without it being litter trained. And they are grouped where they're next to other rabbits. I think a rabbit all by itself probably is not going to be as happy as if it has another rabbit, as because they're very social and they communicate with each other through thumping and different things like that. So and just due to the nature of their of them being lower on the food chain, I think they feel safer with having other rabbits with them. How you determine the hutch or cage or room is entirely up to you. Read about it. If you're handy, or if you know somebody that's handy that can build your hutch for you, or however you decide to do it, you'll find that the wire and the lumber can add up quite fast, along with all of the small little handles and latches and things like that, you know. But I think on a large scale, I mean, it's not like you have to build a barn, although your hutches may end up simulating a barn. And some people do use a barn if they're on a large scale of owning rabbits. You need a barn, you need shelter. Shelter from the wind, shelter from the cold, for whatever your weather conditions are. Rabbits do like to have some fresh options of herbs and things like cabbage and stuff like that to supplement their diet. There's nothing wrong with rabbits just eating their pelleted grain. And there's a lot of different varieties to choose from. Just make sure you're feeding your rabbit and adjusting them with small amounts of things that are new to them. So there are options such as growing fodder or having a garden. You know, maybe it's just seasonal where you have some of those extra things, fresh grass, stuff like that. They're just fun. So just wanted to offer some things to think about. And if you only have an option of keeping your rabbit inside of what looks like a hamster cage, I can tell you that is not going to work. They need more space than that. There's nothing wrong with you know, people who own large numbers of rabbits and they keep them in a 2x2 cage system, because that actually keeps them extremely clean. The rabbits are generally next to other rabbits, and they're almost always under a covered roof. A rabbit can get scared to death. If somebody comes into a room where the rabbit is and the rabbit doesn't know that you're coming in there, they can easily get startled. If your hutch is outside and dogs have access to attack the cage that they're living in, your rabbit could seriously injure itself very easy. Picking a rabbit up and setting a rabbit down requires some care, and this is another reason why adults need to supervise young children that are having rabbits, and being responsible for the care and the handling of rabbits. So that's about it, and good luck to you. Have a great day. Thank you.